So I became nationally known for creating the first operations and maintenance practice manual. I'm very involved with the National Concrete Association. I created as seeing what I was seeing in my area, and they decided to take mine as a template and produce a national Ready Mix Association Pervious Concrete Maintenance Manual, Operations Manual. This can be found on the same website, specifyconcrete.org. You can download it for free. So this is our document. So we want to create the baseline. How do you know if it's clean or if it's not clean if you don't know what it worked like when it was new and you don't know what it worked like when you went back and checked it again? Well, I guess I didn't get my video up. So creating the baseline, I'm going to do it outside here. The ASTM C1701 is an infiltration test on the pavement. Very simple. You know, everyone says, when I told PennDOT we needed to do this, one of the commenters on the clearance transmittal that went out is, we're going to have to buy this equipment, we're going to have to train people on how we're going to do all this stuff. You're taking a section of plastic pipe, you're putting plumber's putty around it, and you're dumping 5 gallons of water into it and timing how long it takes. Simple. We recommend doing this before the pavement even goes into service, because how do you know, if you go back and test it later on, how do you know whether it's plugged up, what your slowdown is on your infiltration rate if you didn't know what it is when it was put in? So we recommend, right before it goes into service, doing the ASTM 1701 test. And according to the ASTM, they want you to do it in 3 places for every 10,000 square feet of parking lot. So you can get an average. You can test it in different places and get different infiltration rates depending on the truck that came in. And so you want to be able to get an average. And you want to create a nice diagram. You're going to create a maintenance log. So you want to create a diagram, and you want to go back to those same places and check it again. So we're going to do this test procedure, and we're going to check it periodically. If it's some areas, you may not have to clean it twice a year, or every other year. In some places, you may have to clean it once a month. Depending on the design and depending on how much dirt is getting put onto that surface. But if you don't know what you started out with, how do you know if it's dirty? You could physically look and say, yeah, it looks like some dirt's in there. Or the asphalt industry said, well, we just take a 5-gallon bucket of water and dump on the surface, and if it goes in, it's okay. But how is that quantifying? What is really okay? So, this is a very easy way to be able to set up a maintenance log and know what something was like from the time you started. And generally, the number has been saying 25% is when you really, if you lose 25% of the additional number, is when you have a problem to deal with. So you want to perform the ASTM 1701 test before you clean, and then we're going to come in and we're going to vacuum, and we're going to weigh up the amount of material that's been extracted. We're going to log that information down, and then we're going to do the ASTM 1701 test again afterwards. So you can see the effectiveness if the vacuuming did work and how your system is actually working. One thing I'm going to say, we're going to do this outside today. I have a vacuum truck coming, which is amazing. That we're able to snag a vacuum truck rather than the little walk behind that I usually use. Asphalt is different than concrete. My experience has been with concrete, I can open it up. If it's plugged solid, I've got the equipment that'll open it up. But asphalt's a little bit different. Asphalt, when it gets hot, it gets sticky, it tends to compress, the dirt sticks in it, and it doesn't come back out again. So I'm not going to make any guarantees today that we're going to see a huge infiltration increase after we do the cleaning, just because the nature of the product. Concrete is a rigid pavement, asphalt is a flexible pavement. Depending on where it's at and how much compression they can get when they install it, you could end up with more compression later on once you get vehicular traffic on it and you get hot weather that's going to compress it and seal those voids out. So how do you clean really bad, dirty pavement? There's different pieces of equipment out there. The whole video on this is on our website. This is a piece of equipment that has water jets inside the head of this machine, and then this connects up to a vacuum truck. This particular pavement is down in the city of Latrobe. Right alongside of the highway, they decided to remove the grass strip and put this beautiful little stamped decorative porous paving in. It was going to eliminate the problem of the cutting of grass. They weren't going to get any runoff, but a ton of dirt goes onto this stuff. And after the first year that it went in, I mean, you can see how much dirt has accumulated in there, but by using this vacuum with the pressure washing, we were able to restore 100%. So it can be cleaned. But again, this is a design that's going to need constant cleaning. This is when it was first put in. This was after the first winter. Then the second year we came in and we cleaned it. It was beautiful again. Then after the second winter I went down, and that is after the second winter. I mean, just a huge amount of dirt and debris. It's right alongside a highway. The snowplow trucks are throwing everything up. I mean, just dirt coming from every direction. So, great idea. Starts out beautiful, but the maintenance is a nightmare on certain problems, on certain projects. Next thing that comes into play, winter maintenance. Everyone says, well, can you plow it? Well, how do we clean it? What about the icing chemicals? Well, that has become my nightmare. Ever since God decided we're going to have winters again, specifically said, Bruce, Cody, you're screwed now. Because everything is changing. You're going to get 0 degrees. You're going to get the icing chemicals every day. People are going to plow like there's no tomorrow, and your life is going down the tubes. You can use snowplows on pervious concrete, but you can't have that sharp metal edge running across the surface. Particular project that I went to in Carnegie had just been installed the year before. I got there, I looked, and by standing back, I could see into the concrete now the path that the snowplow truck was taking. You could just see the metal grating across the surface, and once it drops down into a seam, a joint, it blows out the other side. But what if we have this nice urethane blade edge on there? It's all that's needed. You tell maintenance people that, and you think it's the end of the world, but a urethane blade edge is going to protect any type of surface you're going to have. This was a project that I went to after the first winter where winters came back. I mean, my phone rang 24 hours a day about issues and problems, and I thought, I know one project that would definitely get destroyed. Woodcock Township is just north of Meadville. Now, they get winters up there. They get lots of snow up there. And I'm going to go to Meadville, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to see the most disastrous project ever because their winters are much more severe than here. I pulled onto the job site, and it looked beautiful. Now, I can tell when I go onto a job site and all of a sudden the lines are gone. You know that the surface is just falling apart. And I looked and I said, geez, the handicap marks are still on here. Everything is beautiful here. Well, I called up the township supervisor and I said, what did you guys do here? And he said, well, what do you mean? I did everything you told me to do. I said, we used a snow blower and we put sand on. We didn't use de-icing chemicals. What did we do wrong? I said, no, you did everything right. I said, I've got 14 other projects that fell apart in one winter, and yours is beautiful. And he said, well, we did what you told us to. And I said, yeah, most people don't do what I tell them to